Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here with another brew review, and as we said yesterday, today we are going to taste the Armand Ter Dolen. Armand, the father of Mieke Desplenter and Inge Desplenter, but also the father of the Ter Dolen Castle Brewery. He got honored with his own beer, honoring his legacy and the man himself in 2011, because he was part of the Desplenter family that eventually evolved into Riva, into Liefmans, and then got bought up by Duvel Moortgat. The man spent quite a lot of time in and around beer. Now, this beer is not a dry hopped version of the Ter Dolen Blonde. This is an entirely new recipe. As confirmed at the Bier Klap Podcast. Check those guys out if you're a Dutch native speaker, or at least a Dutch speaker. So the current brewmaster did confirm that they are all separate recipes and that this is not just a dry hop version of the Ter Dolen Blonde. Now, what kind of beer is this? This is a 7% ABV dry hopped blonde, let's say a classic take on an IPA maybe. And it is supposed to be rather dry and citrusy, aromatic, a very classic beer, but dry hopped. Now that does sound like something I would like, dry, citrusy. Now I want to go over a few details. For example, of course, look at this lovely design. I'll put the old label up here to compare. That was actually the nicest label they had, in my humble opinion, but you guys know that I like tranquility, I like simplicity in my labels. Now I love the use of color here, the ochre beige with black lettering Armand and Ter Dolen in red, which is the only colored accent in this, logo, because I can hardly call it a label. Awesome. And we do have a silhouette depiction of Armand right here between the A and the N. Armand is also depicted on the bottle cap with that same silhouette, be it negative. Now, this beer is absolutely classic. It just contains water, malted barley, hop, and yeast. So it does conclude for the Reinheitsgebot, and this is also acknowledged as an Abbey beer. Let's not waste any time, let's have a taste. Now, since 2011, it has won 2 gold medals at the Brussels Beer Awards. Looks like it's time to replace my cap container again. Important, some of you may have noticed that this is a Cantillon glass, a Geuze glass, and this is a Ter Dolen blonde beer. So they have nothing to do with each other. Well, you're partly right, or partially right. Actually, the Armand came with its own glass. The Armand is intended to be drunk in a classic, heavy, sturdy glass, which mostly resembles this one. Now, this was a gift from one of you guys, from one of the viewers. Thanks a lot, Patrick. I will be reviewing Cantillon beers as well, so he gifted me this Cantillon glass too. But this glass resembles the Armand glass most in my collection, and also as a tribute or out of respect for Armand and his legacy, I'll be drinking it out of the intended glass, be it with a different logo, because I don't have the Armand glass yet. Alright, so I do see that this is very active and actually a very clear beer. I would have expected this to be a bit more hazy. It is re-fermented in the bottle. Look at that. So beautiful. I actually expected this to be more of a gold blonde color. This is actually a lot paler than expected, a lot yellower, paler, very, very active, highly carbonated. Of course, it has re-fermented in the bottle, and let's say that the yeast did do its work. Some nice white, almost white foam. It's slightly off-white. Nicely dense foam. I may not have degreased this glass as I should have, so bubbles are a bit larger or becoming a bit larger, but that's my own fault, because actually in the middle this is a very, very dense foam. Nice and active beer. As promised, a very citrusy aroma. I don't know if that's my imagination or not, but I do get a slight hint of coconut. Now, I can't imagine them using Sabro hop in a beer like this. It also smells very dry, slightly bitter, tiny hint of acidity, but, well, actually not acidity. Citrus, but not necessarily the acid. So by that I mean yellow grapefruit, some zest, some lime, not acidity. Slightly fruity. Yeah. The aroma is already approved. I absolutely like this. So let's have a taste. Ooh. First glance, yeah, well-rounded. A bit less sweet than I expected, a bit less fruity. This is a very classic dry, hoppy beer. Well, it is dry hopped, of course, but it is very dry, it is very hoppy. It is rather bitter. And about half of the aroma reappears in the taste, so I'm not getting that lime in there, but I am getting a bit of zest and a lot of yellow grapefruit. Actually, the only remark that I have is that it could have been slightly colder, but that's my own fault for not putting it in the fridge early enough. But nonetheless, this is a very, very thirst-quenching beer, and it really works in the back of the tongue, the roof of the mouth. So it is rather thin when it comes to viscosity, when it comes to density, but on the other hand, when it comes to mouthfeel, because of the high carbonation and the absolute dryness of this beer, it does have a very full and rounded mouthfeel. So yeah, awesome, great. Some slight tingling in the gums, on the tongue. Again, that highly carbonated feeling. A bit of malty, hints of malt, yeah. Some bready side flavors, which I actually kind of like. Actually, for me, this is a very complete beer. It has that malty, bready flavors. It has a slight hint of citrus. It has that bitterness. It has that dryness. The aftertaste keeps coming and lingers on and on. Very thirst quenching, very refreshing. Ideal for a hot summer's day. So yeah, how should I score this beer? I am thinking of going 4, maybe 4.25 in Untapped. So yeah, an 8.5 out of 10. Job very well done. So Peter and I believe Bart before him. Very nice. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that, you guys. I am gonna enjoy this a bit further, not let anything go to waste, except for the yeast. There, we made it a bit hazier. And fun fact, actually, the pouring in yeast from the bottle actually makes your beer even a bit more bitter, so that is why I always pour the yeast in my Duvel to make it a bit more full, hazy, and a bit more bitter, a bit softer too. Yeah, that's a bit more bitter and a bit softer, so as expected. Nonetheless, we did the scoring, we did the tasting. Absolutely lovely beer. This brewery just got on my radar for one, tasting all their beers, and they only have 8, so 7 more to go. 2, for a visit, because it's beautiful scenery. I actually love Limburg, great hiking there. So yeah, we'll hear about this a bit more in the future. Nonetheless, if you guys like this video, let me know, hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to watch number 175, the Omer Brut Nature, because you can win a bottle. And if you want to see more, then just hit subscribe. Tap that bell icon, you'll get notified whenever I upload something, which will be Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 6 p.m. Then I'll do the brew reviews, and sometimes in between I'll do some brewery breakdowns, and I'm gonna start some new segments in the following weeks. So yeah, keep your eyes open, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers!